RJ Barrett has spoken out on his time with the New York Knicks, and we have to talk about it. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to waste no time jumping into the video today because RJ Barrett spoke out about his time with the New York Knicks. And though he gave a lot of positives to the Knicks, he also talked about how he is happy to be back with the Toronto Raptors, where he's home in Canada. So let's just break it all down. What RJ had to say was that I helped build something in New York. When I came there, we weren't good. I left it a lot better than it started. Definitely bittersweet, but I'm happy for those guys over there. They are happy about the trade they made, and I wish nothing but the best for them. I grew up as a player and a person over there in New York. Those 4.5 years I will never forget. It sucks to hear that because it's one of those things where we know it's over. When we drafted RJ, it felt like he was just going to become the superstar we were waiting for so long. The Knicks did not do the best to build around him. They never really built around him since the second they got Julius. They basically tried to build around Randall instead. RJ kind of never got a fully fair shake with the New York Knicks, which sucked. And now he's gone. And he got replaced by someone who has clearly helped the Knicks succeed and fits the Knicks better than Barrett does and is better for this current Knicks team. But it doesn't mean that doesn't still hurt to see RJ basically talking about how his time in New York is over because we all thought it was going to be this miraculous thing where RJ stayed with the Knicks for 20 years and we were finally going to have another homegrown star for the first time since Ewing. Excuse me. And it did not really pan out that way. But RJ also kept talking about other stuff and basically said when he got traded, he had no clue. He said that he got the call when it happened. I was like, what is going on? Barrett told Marc Spears. I was so confused. I didn't see it coming. When he told me the Raptors, I was like, okay, at least I'm coming home, which sort of indicates that maybe RJ didn't want to get traded. I mean, he was happy in New York. When he got drafted by the Knicks, there was that famous quote, yo, I'm a Knick. And then obviously him posting that photo of him as a kid in a Knicks hat. He spent some time in New York growing up as a kid. It just felt like the perfect situation for RJ Barrett at the time. Him in his pink suit on draft day and being that third overall pick, it just felt like the moment when things changed. And they sort of did because when RJ got here, it did sort of signify the turnaround. And no, that didn't happen instantly. By RJ's second season with the Knicks, which was also IQ's first season, the Knicks got back to the playoffs for the first time in 9 years. And he was a huge part of that. RJ was the second best player on the team. Quickly was already a dynamic player off the bench for the Knicks. There was an argument that he already should have been the starting point guard over Elfrid Payton. I stand by that he should have been. Maybe that would have changed the trajectory of Knicks history and Jalen Brunson might not be a Knick. And Brunson is the best player of anyone that's going to be mentioned between the Knicks and the Raptors. There's no one on either team who is better than Jalen Brunson. So it feels like everything did work out for the Knicks in the way that it was supposed to and that the Raptors are going to be A-okay. RJ's back home, which is nice to see that at least he didn't get traded somewhere where he has no connections to. For instance, like the Sacramento Kings or the Oklahoma City Thunder. And no shade towards either of those teams. I purposely picked two teams that are good. But it's also like RJ has no personal connection there to what he did with New York and to what because they drafted him, he spent some time here growing up. And also to what he did in Toronto because he's from there. He's a Canadian. Like, I thought it was really cool that despite the fact that I was super bummed that RJ, especially because I'm such a big RJ fan, but also IQ, got traded, I was bummed, but I also knew it was the right move. It made sense for the Knicks. It still does, looking back in retrospect, it was the right move to make after this, I don't know, week and a half that it's been since RJ got traded. And he kind of kept talking about it and basically, first of all, just to highlight the fact that he's been doing well, he's averaging 21 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 3 assists, while also shooting 54% from the floor and almost 53% from three. So he's balling out, which is great for RJ. And what he said about it is, I felt good since game one, personally, offensively. I felt like I've been playing very well. I didn't really score the ball in a crazy way the first 3 games, but I've been efficient and trying to play the right way and help my teammates. A lot is going on, still learning the defensive system, trying to get better every day. RJ recently scored 37 points in a game against the Golden State Warriors, where he was unstoppable going to the rim because the Raptors gave him the court spacing for him to do so, which the Knicks never did. Awesome to see RJ ball out. We've seen it before with the Knicks. The question is, will it continue? Will he be able to find the consistency that he never was able to with the Knicks? And part of that is because the Knicks never really gave the opportunity for him to do that. Now, honestly, I don't know if he is. I couldn't tell you, and I think a lot of it will have to do on if the Raptors end up trading Pascal Siakam or not, because Siakam is sort of similar to Julius Randle, sort of like a worse version of Julius Randle, and maybe without him there will be more court spacing. He's not shooting above 30% from three this season, and getting Siakam out of there will allow you to move Scotty Barnes to the 4, and put RJ at either the 2 or the 3. It doesn't really matter as long as he's allowed to really just go downhill and play in transition for the first time in his NBA career. Not really sure what Coach Darko's doing over there if he's playing in transition offense, but he really should with guys like RJ and IQ. And speaking of IQ, he had something to say on the matter of RJ. He said, RJ coming home, he's excited and happy. When we first got to Toronto, we were going to the practice facility and he was pointing out all the spots. I used to go here when I was little. This movie theater. He took me to a spot after the first game. I'm going to need a couple more spots. One of the best things about this trade, as a Knicks fan, that has nothing to do with the Knicks, is that RJ and IQ are still together. The two were clearly friends on the court. You could see they had fun hanging out together, and they get to continue to be teammates for the long haul, which is awesome. Cannot wait to see Manny get that contract extension that he so much deserves. I'm also going to beat you in 2K, Manny, if you ever see this. But that's for a conversation for another day. And really, it's really cool that these two will get to develop this sort of camaraderie over the next few years with the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors do come back to face New York on January 20th of this month. So right now, we're like 10 days away from RJ and IQ's homecoming. Knowing MSG, they're going to give them both a standing ovation. They never did anything wrong by the Knicks. They were always consistent. They were always professionals. And they always knew how to light up the Garden crowd. Also, I will be in attendance with that game with Ben Rogers of Raptors Digest. And Dario also. We'll all be there. We'll all be watching. We'll all watch the Knicks win, obviously, because, I mean, come on. The Knicks don't lose with OG Anunoby. We know this. The Knicks don't lose with OG. They can't. It's physically impossible for the Knicks to lose a game with OG Anunoby on their team. But really, this is going to age like milk. They're going to lose to the Trailblazers. But really, it's nice to see that RJ has spoken nothing but high praises about the Knicks. This shows that the Knicks have really turned it around as an organization, because not too long ago, when players would leave the Knicks, they would talk about all the negatives of the organization. Now they're talking about the positives. They're talking about how great the fans are and how great the organization is. And that is a good sign for New York Knicks basketball. It shows that Leon Rose has changed the culture over here and that we could be a place that stars will want to play. I don't fully know how stars work, but I know that if someone were to ask RJ Barrett, hey, I'm considering signing with the Knicks, is there anything I should know? Like, say it's a former Duke guy or something. I'm completely making this up. I have no one in mind off the top of my head. But say they hit up RJ and are like, yo, should I go here? What's the deal? It sounds like RJ and IQ will both have positive things to say on the matter, which is an important thing for teams. You want to know from your peers that the Knicks are an organization that you want to play for. That is very important to having a successful team and to having a team where players will want to go to, especially as Michael Wilbon alluded to a week ago, that players in recent years are going to South Beach or they're going to LA, and that's really about it in free agency. So the Knicks need to figure out a way to get back into that spot to be a free agent mainstay. And outside of that, really just RJ finished it off by saying, I want to show everyone I'm happy to be here and to help us win. That's the main goal. Look, obviously the Knicks and the Raptors are division rivals, but I'll always have a soft spot for the Raptors as long as RJ and IQ are there. I've got so much love for the both of them. They did so much for New York in the not too long times that they were there. And I will never forget the time that we had with RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly on the New York Knicks. I'll always love them. I'll always keep this jersey hung up in my room somewhere because those are my guys. Shout out to RJ Barrett. Shout out to IQ. Go become All-Stars. Go lead the Raptors to an NBA Finals. Just don't beat the Knicks along the way because you can't, because we got OG Anunoby, and the OG Anunoby Knicks don't lose. Have a great day, guys. Like and subscribe. Turn on those post notification bells. And go New York Knicks.